integration x naught to x naught to xn plus nh. The similarly how we can write the last class. This first two terms actually the same thing for all the methods from integration x naught to x naught plus nh f of dx plus h by 2 y naught plus, so it will be 1/3, that's mean h by 3 for the h by 3. That is why this is called Simpson 1/3. That's mean it's 1 by 3 into something like that. So that is why this is called Simpson 1/3. So 1 h by 3 y naught plus yn, first term plus last term, first ordinate plus last ordinate. These are actually same for all the methods. Plus 4 into y1 y3 up to yn minus 1 plus 4 into y1 plus y2, sorry, y2 plus y5 plus up to dot plus yn minus 1 plus 2 into rest of the terms, 2 into y2 y4 and yn minus 2, 2 into y2 plus y4 plus y6 plus up to dot y n minus 2. That's when the even term. Sorry, that is n minus n minus 1. So this is the Simpson 1/3. So if you now look at that, the formula basically h by 3, sum of the first and last ordinates, same as the previous one, and 4 into sum of the even ordinates plus 2 into sum of the remaining odd ordinates. So if you can write like the previous one, so we can write this one. That is this one. Sum of the first and last ordinate is by 3 and 4 into sum of the, it is actually 2 into sum of the remaining, and before then that I have to write plus 4 into sum of the even ordinates and sum of the remaining odd ordinates. So this is the pointing things in here, even and odd. So it is known as Simpson's 1/3 rule. So let me know you understand these things or not. This formula.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Repeat it again.
Hello?
Sir, 4 into sum of the odd ordinates
Yes.
or even?
Yes, that's this question actually I am expecting. That is why I'm asking that you understand or not. So who are actually say, yes, I understand. So I have a doubt that you really understand or not. If you don't ask this question or if this question is not in your mind,
Sir,
then
understand. Because sir, first codomain, why not, sir?
yes, somebody then understand. Okay, look at that. Our ordinates, if you see that the confusion is I'm writing y1, y3, y5, how 1, 3, 5 is even, and I'm writing 2, 4, 6, and how 2, 4, 6 are odd. That's the confusion. So our coordinates, if you look at back to our table, then you can understand properly. So look at that, our coordinates start from 0. So even and odd, this means position, not the uh, suffix 1 to 3. These are the suffix 1 to 3 is not actually the position of the coordinates. So this is means actually some of the even ordinates means even position ordinates. So this is the first one that is actually comes from, it starts from 0. That's the confusion. If it starts from 1, then 1 x1 will be the odd position, x3 is the odd position, x2 is the even position, but it starts from 0. So this is the first position, that's an odd position. X1 is the second position, that's an even position. X2 is the third position, that's means it's a odd position. You understand? Because of it starts from 0, so 1, 3, y1, y3,
Yes.
y5, these are actually even position ordinates. That's why some of the even coordinates. And 2, 4, 6, these are the actually odd position. So these are remaining odd coordinates. Is it clear? Because it starts from x0, not it starts from x1. That is why the even will be even positions are the odd subscript, and the even odd positions are even subscripts. So this is the actually answer of your question. Do you get this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now for the Simpson create rule. Number actually 3. Create rule, then you have to put n equal to 3 and you have to neglecting from del 4 to del 5 and so on. That means we can accept up to the del to the power 3 y naught, del cube y naught, then we can, and we can neglect from del to the power 4 y naught to the higher term. This is for the Simpson create rule, and we will find the following. So the formula is actually quite similar. The 3 by 8, 8 into first coordinate plus last coordinate, these are the same. So that will be 3h by 8, 3h by 8. That's why this is called Simpson 3h rule. Or you can write the 8 in here, or you can multiply by 8. It doesn't matter. So it's just understanding that why it is called 3h rule, because it is multiplied by 3h. The whole thing. Sorry, I think I'm missing something. The bracket I'm missing. So this is 1 by 3 is multiplying the whole thing. That is called Simpson 1/3 rule. And for the 3/8 rule, that is actually multiplying the whole thing. This is not the full uh, formula. That's why this is called 3/8 rule. So 3 by 8, 8 into yn, y naught plus yn. First coordinate plus last coordinate. This is the same, and the remaining part 3 into y1 plus y2 plus y3. So and 2 into 3, 3. So I'm just write the last part, and secondly I'm just at the second part. So 3 into and 2 into. So that will be 3 into something, 3 into something. What is the something? I'm not writing yet. I'm just writing 2 into something. What the something is? 2 into y3, y3, y6, y9, and y, it will be n minus 3. Okay, and then 3 into y1 plus y2 in here, y4, and you can write y5, and then the general term will be n minus 4. I should not write y5 in here, plus n minus 4, n minus 2, n minus 1, n minus 4 plus n minus 2 plus n minus 1. So this is the formula for the Simpson 3-8 rules. Now you have to understand how we can organize all of these things. So now we can look at that. You understand easily that 8 into y naught plus yn, that's in the first ordinate and last ordinate. So we can copy the terms in here. Okay, first and last ordinate, it will be 3 by 8 and plus 3 into something, 3 into sum of something. What is the something? I'm writing later. Plus 2 into sum of. Now you tell me that y3, y6, y9, and yn minus 3. What is the sequence in here? What is actually the general term in here? That's how can you relate the sequence y3, yn, yn? You have to always keep in your mind that our value starts from y0, y1, and y3. This is you have to keep in your mind always. And that is the y3, y6, y9, and yn minus 3. What does it mean? Anybody can let me know?
No, sir.
Sir, here the two human position is different, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Here actually, sir, two domain. Sir, here's two domain is different, sir. One to another.
So what's the difference? That's my question. Who can understand this? What does it mean in here?
So difference 3, sir. Y3 to y6 and y6 to y9.
Yes, sir. 3.
Okay, so this is, look at that, this is y3, 6, 9, n minus 3. That's mean this is the multiple of 3. That's mean 3 into 1 is 3, 3 into 2 is 6, 3 into 3, 9, 3 into 4, 12. These are the terms. That's when these are multiple of 3. So y3, y6, yn, and yn minus 1, these are actually multiple of 3. Understand this thing?
Yes, sir.
And this one is rest of the terms. Understand? So we can write sum of the terms okay, where the n is multiple of 3. Multiple of 3.
3, sir. Yes, sir.
So any so that will be multiple of 3. That means 3, 6, 9, and then and 3 into what? The remaining
Remaining terms, sir.
ordinals. That is the trick. You understand? And now I told you that the sum of the coordinates where n is multiple of 6. Okay. So don't be confused with this term. Like that we say that even position, even means even position. So in that sense of 1/3 rule, even means actually even position, not the subscript position. Okay. But in Simpson 3/8 rule, that n is multiple of 6, not the position is the superscript. Because if you consider the position of the multiple of 6, then it will be y4, y5, y2, y5, and 7. That's been sorry. These are the terms actually. You understand? So this is not the position. In that case, these are not the position. This is actually the subscript of y. So as a side note, I just write
Sir, here you write
n
6
is a multiple
3.
of 6. Oh, sorry, multiple of 3. N is a subscript of y. Understand? Don't be confused with this. N is the subscript. Okay, not the position of the ordinals. Okay, not the position of this ordinals. Okay, you get this?
Okay, sir.
y3, y6, y9, these are the subscript of n. That's in subscript of y. The position n is the subscript of y. And in the symptom 3, 1/3 rule, so even and odd is not the subscript of y. Even and odd means position of the ordinals. So I have to write even position. Even position ordinals, and that should be odd position ordinals. That will be more clear, I think. Now, another thing is that I missed one thing to describe in these 3 rules for the trapezoidal rule, Simpson and 1/3 rule, and Simpson 3/8 rule. So, in that case, for the trapezoidal rule, our main task is that we have to divide our interval. We have to divide our interval into many pieces, obviously evenly, and then we can evaluate this formula. So What is the important things is there? The important things is to create the table, these tabulated values. And the question is um, how many terms we can create. That means what will be the n in here? That means how many multiple we can find in here. This is the question. N. What is the value of n? So how many terms we can find for the trapezoidal rule, and how many terms we can create for the Simpson 1/3 rule, and how many terms we can create for the Simpson 3/8 rule. That is the main question, because this is the most important part of this numerical integration. If you get this value, then you just apply this formula and find the result. That's super easy. There is nothing but addition and multiplication. This method is nothing, but the important thing is this one. So one thing I missed that. So n is what is the n in here? That's in how many uh, coordinates you can create for the trapezoidal rule. So for the trapezoidal rule, there is no condition that how many ordinates you can create. You can create as many as possible. There is no condition. You can make even number of ordinates. You can make odd numbers of ordinates. It doesn't matter how many ordinates you can create. Understand? But Simpson 1/3 rule, there is a condition. The condition is that the interval must be divided into even numbers of equal subintervals. That means the number of subintervals must be even number. Okay, so I have to write that for the trapezoidal rule. So there is no restriction for the number of subintervals. So this is the condition for the trapezoidal rule. There is no restriction for the number of subintervals. That means we have an interval x0 to xn. This is our main interval, and we have to divide this interval into many subintervals. So how many subintervals we can create? There is no restriction for the trapezoidal rule. You can create even number of subinterval. You can create odd number of subinterval. That's mean how many subintervals you can create, it doesn't matter. There is no restriction. So I have to write there is no restriction for number of subintervals, and that must be equal. So I have to write equal subintervals. But for the Simpson 1/3 rule, there is a condition. What is the condition? For the Simpson 1/3 rule, the number of subintervals must be divided into even numbers of subintervals. Or we can write the given interval means the interval is given x0 to xn. That is actually we have to write x0 to xn. As in x0 to xn. So this given interval must be divided into even number of subintervals. That is the condition for Simpson one-third rule. Understand? So what does it mean? Even number of subintervals. Now intervals, if you want to make intervals, then you need two values. So like that, our main interval is what in here for that example, that is the interval is given. So I just write in here
Sir, sir, it means our coordinate is odd, sir.
yes, that is actually mean. The given interval is given like this one, x naught x naught to xn. This is our given interval, and this interval we have to divide into even number. So if you want to divide even number of interval, so if you want to make an interval, then you need two numbers. That's when this is an interval. So we need two numbers, x0, x1. So that should be x0 to x1 is one interval, and then x1 to x2 is another interval, x2 to x3 is another interval. So that is how you have to make even numbers interval. That's when you can make two interval, four interval, six interval, eight interval, but you cannot make one interval or three interval or five interval. Okay, so we can discuss after the 1 minute left for the Zoom session. Reconnect it and discuss this again. Okay, so back to our discussion. So what I'm discussing that what does it mean that number of even intervals? That's mean if you have one to even intervals, then if you want to make one interval, then you need 2 points. So if you need even intervals, then you need actually what number of points? So if I give you the particular example, then if you divide like interval like 1 to 10. So if you want to make even interval, then you need actually how many points in here? You need odd points. So you can write 1 to 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9. So that is how that means if you want to make even interval, then the number of points that must be odd. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you repeat?
So make an interval for 1 to 5. Just make it 5. Okay? So make a interval for 5.
So it should be 4, sir.
If you make an interval 5, that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now how many intervals in here? There is one
Sir,
interval,
4,
there is two
4, sir.
interval, and there is 3 interval, and 4 to 5 is 4 interval. That means even interval. You understand? Interval needs 2 points. 1 to 2 is one interval. Again 2 to 3 is another interval, second interval. 3 to 4, third interval. 4 to 5, fourth interval. That's mean how many intervals in here?
4 intervals.
4 intervals. There are 4 intervals. So if you want to create
Four.
even intervals, then you need odd numbers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many numbers you get? You get 5 numbers. So 5 numbers create 4 intervals, and 11 numbers create 10 intervals. Like 8 numbers create 7 intervals. That's when if you need even intervals, that must be odd numbers of points you need. Is it clear to everybody? So this is the means actually even interval. Okay. And the Simpson 3-8 rule. The rule for the Simpson 3-8 rule, that's the we can divide our interval as a multiple of 3.
জি আসসালামু আলাইকুম ফ্রি আছেন না
Okay.
আপনি কি আসলে আমার লগে খুব পরিচয় হয়েছিল কিন্তু এখন আপনি আমারে চিনলেন কিনা আমি তো বলতে পারতেছি না
এই ভাই কে কথা বলতেছেন মাইক্রোফোনটা মিউট করেন
Excuse me, you need to
মাইক্রোফোনটা মিউট করেন
mute your microphone.
বিষয় হচ্ছে নিজের কথা নিজে কেমন
Naidul
কই
Islam.
ওই বিয়ে শাদীর বিষয় আর কি
Naidul Islam, you have to mute your microphone.
আমার বাসা হচ্ছে আপনার
So the condition for that, the given interval must be divided into multiple of 3, or easier way we can write that. Okay, so the given interval we can divide it into number of sub intervals as a multiple of 3. That means we can create multiple of 3 means 3 intervals or 6 intervals, 9 intervals, or 12 intervals, 15 intervals. These are the multiple of 3. So this is the condition for the Simpson 3-8 rule. So these 3 conditions you have to keep in your mind. trapezoidal rule has no condition. Simpson one-third rule, you must have to create subinterval as an even number of subinterval. And Simpson 3-8 rule, the number of subinterval must be multiple of 3. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
So now let's solve a problem.
Sir, you say example for Samsung create rules, sir. You can give the example.
So evaluate integration of 0 to 6. Integration of 0 to 6. dx by 1 by x square. So by all methods, I mean Simpson one-third rule, 3-8 rule, and trapezoidal rule, Simpson one-third rule, and 3-8 rule. Okay. You have to solve this problem. Evaluate this by these 3 rules. Now, so first of all, we have to do? We have to create a subinterval. So we have to write, and the interval must be equal interval. That you have to keep in your mind. Okay. Interval 0, 6 into. Now the question is, we have to solve this problem by all methods. That's mean trapezoidal, Simpson one-third, Simpson 3-8 rule. So trapezoidal rule has no condition for how many subinterval we can create, but Simpson one-third and 3-8 has a different condition. But we have to solve one problem by 3 methods. So what we can do? We can do 3 subintervals. That's when we can create 3 times the subinterval for 3 methods. That's when each of the time we have to create the subinterval. Or we can create one subinterval which is applicable for all the methods. What we can do? There are 2 ways. One, you can create each separate subintervals for each of the methods, or you can create one subinterval which is applicable for all the methods. I think second option is better. Now look at that. Trapezoidal has no condition, so we do not have to bother about the trapezoidal. We do not have to think about these things. You must have to concern Simpson one-third and 3-8. One-third is actually even interval, and 3-8 should be multiple of 3. So you have to find out some number which are even and also multiple of 3. Like that, multiple of 3, like that, 3 into 1, that is 3. 3 is not even. But 3 into 2 is 6. 6 is also multiple of 3 and also even number. So we can divide into 6 parts. You get this point?
Sir,
Like
LCM
that.
of
You don't have to much more complex about these things. Think about that some number which are even and multiple of 3, like that 6, like that 12, like that 18. These are multiple of 3 and also even number. That's when some number you can divide it by 3 and that number must be even. Like 6 you can divide by 3, but 6 is even. Like 12 is even number and you can also divided by 3, and 18 is also even number and also you can divide it by 3. So that means these numbers are even and multiple of 3. So we can divide the interval 0 to 6 into 6 equal subinterval. And now intervals doesn't mean that always should be integer number. In intervals, maybe you can create the interval with the what I can say, that fractional number also. So for the 6 subinterval, we have to create 7 numbers. So we have to make 8 boxes, one for x and another for y. So first value must be 0, last value must be 6. Now in between 0 to 6, how can we create? So you can simply divide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many intervals in here? 0 to 1, 1 interval, second interval, third interval, fourth interval, fifth interval, and sixth interval. That's been 7 number. 0 to 6 is a 7 number. That's been 6 interval in here. And for that interval, you have to generate the value. So what is our function in here? So we have to consider, first of all, that let y equal to, or we can write f of x equal to 1 by 1 plus x square. So this is our function. That's it. So this is our function. So you have to put this value of x in here. So put the value 0 in here, that will be 1. Put the value 1 in here. So 1 square is 1. That will be 2. Sorry, 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 means 0.5. And if you put 3 in here, 2 in here, 2 square means 4. 1 plus 4 is 1 by 5. 1 by 5 is what? 1 by 5 is 0.2. You have to use calculator, okay? It's not actually you can do by yourself. You have to use calculator. For 3, that will be 0.1. I'm using calculator. And 4 is 0. Is many numbers, so we can accept after decimal point maybe 3 digit or 4 digit. 0.0588. 0.0588. So maybe 3 or 4 digit we can accept. Like for 5, 0.0385. 0.0385. For 6, it will be 0.027. 0.027. So this is, you can calculate from this function. Now rest of the part is super easy. You have numbers, you just apply the formula. You have all the y0, y1, y3 up to yn. So apply this formula and solve these 3 problems. That is your homework. Rest of the part you have to do by yourself, okay? And lecture sheet also uploaded in the website. You can download from this website, and after this class, the new lecture sheet, the lecture sheet will be updated, okay?
Sir, we can apply the three rules in this.
Yes, you have
X
to
and Y
apply
table.
3 rules for that interval, because this is applicable for all that rules.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, also you can get help from your book. You can find some workout examples, so you can see that and try to solve this one. Okay, you can ask this question.
Sir, if we don't take 0 and 6 as a domain, will it be a problem?
Must be, because
And
your
we-
domain is given 0 to 6. So you must have to include the first coordinate 0, the last coordinate is 6, and in between you have to divide the subinterval. That means this is the, you have to understand the notation of the interval. When third bracket is used, that means the 0 and 6, the end point, the boundary point must be included when using the third bracket. But if it is using the first bracket, that means 0 and 6 is not included, that is excluded. You have to understand the meaning of the brackets, okay? When it is a third bracket interval 0 to 6, then you must have to include 0 to 6. You cannot make an interval without 0 to 6. I hope it is clear. So Saiful Islam, Anas Mahmoud, Anas Hussain, Saiful Islam is present, okay? Anas Hussain, Taksina Mustafa,
Yes, sir.
Rupali Mondol,
Yes, sir.
Abdullah Al Mamun,
Yes, sir.
Salman Islam,
Present, sir.